Hello there, welcome to News from Nepal Television. I am Smituki Singh Tamang. Let's begin with the top stories for this afternoon. Labour Minister Kumar directs concerned bodies to make foreign employment more effective, instructs to make foreign employment online service trouble-free. 3 more people contract cholera in Kathmandu. Total number of confirmed cases reach 34. US to send military aid to Ukraine. More detailed announcement expected later this week. And cricket head coach Dasanaike quits Nepal in the middle of his contract. Cricket Canada announces his appointment within hours. Welcome back. Now the news in detail. The Ministry of Labour, Employment and Social Security has directed stakeholders to make foreign employment more effective by resolving problems in the Foreign Employment Information System. The Ministry on Wednesday organized a discussion with stakeholders and directed in this regard. On the occasion, Labour Minister Sher Bahadur Kumar asked the offices under the ministry to make their online service effective and help deliver service provided by the ministry to service seekers in a feasible way. The talk was attended by Secretary of the Ministry and officials from the Department of Foreign Employment, the Foreign Employment Board, the Social Security Fund, the Department of Immigration, the Department of Consular Services, the Department of Passport, the Department of Information Technology, the Department of National ID and Civil Registration. Transport service has come to a halt on the Melamchi-Helambu road section when the rain-triggered flood since last night took away its parts in several places. Locals said the flood has devastated the road that was reconstructed following the massive flood at Chunote-Helambu last year. The road traffic was also disrupted at Dunge Bazar of Helambu and Simkel in Melamchi. Locals of the areas, including Gyaltum of Helambu, were forced to stay outside the home during last night due to incessant rain. Local administration has urged local dwellers to stay alert in view of possible landslides on the banks of Melamchi and steep land with the rise in water level. President Bidyadevi Bhandari on Wednesday appointed Dan Bahadur Tamang as a residential ambassador to the Republic of South Africa. The appointment was made upon the recommendation of the Council of Ministers in accordance with Article 2821 of the Constitution of Nepal, according to Sagar Acharya, spokesperson for the Office of President. 3 more people have contracted cholera in Kathmandu. According to the Ministry of Health and Population, cholera was confirmed in 3 more people in the test conducted on Tuesday. With this, the number of cholera cases confirmed in the valley has reached 34. The disease was confirmed in Kathmandu first on June 2nd, and within a month, the number has reached to 34. Doctors say that diarrhea is caused by a bacteria called Vibrio that infects the small intestine of a person. According to doctors, cholera can be prevented by drinking boiled water, not eating food with stale dirty water, paying attention to hygiene, washing hands and feet with soapy water, and after urinating, and not touching indiscriminately. Time for a break now. We shall see you back with more updates. Do stay tuned. Welcome back. Now the remaining updates. 391 new cases of COVID-19 have been added in the country in the past 24 hours. According to the Ministry of Health and Population, the new infections were confirmed from nearly 4,000 tests. In the same period, 46 individuals recovered from the virus. Meanwhile, country's active case load crossed 2,000 after almost 5 months. At the moment, 2,276 active cases are in the country. And now the international update. The U.S. and allies have committed more rocket systems, ammunition and other military aid to Ukraine. American defense leaders said Wednesday that the U.S. will send Ukraine 4 more highly mobility artillery rocket systems, HIMARS, and precision-guided rockets for them, as well as additional artillery rounds. A more detailed announcement is expected later this week. The aid comes as Russian forces try to solidify gains in the two provinces in Ukraine's eastern Donbas region, Donetsk and Luhansk, while also expanding attacks into other areas. Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov told state-controlled RT television and the RIA Novosti news agency that Russia has expanded its special military operation from the Donbas to the Kherson and Zaporizhia regions and other captured territories. Officials have been reluctant to say how long the war may last, but Army General Mark Milley, chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, suggested it could be a long slog. Milley said the Ukrainian strikes are steadily degrading the Russian ability to supply their troops, command and control their forces, and carry out their illegal war of aggression. The U.S. has already provided more than $7 billion in aid to Ukraine since the war began in late February. Italian Premier Mario Draghi won a confidence vote in the Senate on Wednesday, but boycotts by 3 of his key coalition allies in the voting virtually doomed any prospects for his unity government's survival. The vote Wednesday went 95-38 in the favor of Draghi's government, but it was a hollow victory. Just before the roll call vote, representatives of the populist Five-Star Movement, the conservative forces of former Premier Silvio Berlusconi's Forza Italia, and right-wing senators of Matteo Salvini's League Party announced they would skip the vote. Coalition turmoil prompted Draghi last week to offer his resignation, but Italy's president rejected the bid and asked the premier to test his government's support in parliament. The coalition partners' walkout came despite an unprecedented outpouring of sentiment by citizens in the last days, appealing for Draghi to keep on governing amid soaring inflation, high energy costs, and a surge in pandemic infections. Appearing shortly before the vote in Parliament's upper house, Draghi cited an unprecedented outpouring of public pleas for him to continue governing in the last week. 14,000 mayors, an association of doctors, other lobbying groups, and tens of thousands of ordinary citizens signing Draghi's stay petitions have urged him not to step down. The financial markets consider Draghi, a former European Central Bank chief, to be a guarantor of fiscal stability in Italy. Time again for a short break. We shall see you at the other side with more updates. Welcome back. You're with English News on Nepal Television. More from International Front. President Ivan Duque swore in representatives for the Colombian Congress Wednesday for a new 4-year term that will coincide with the administration of President-elect Gustavo Petro. Duque, from a right-wing party, wished the new government success and said Colombia still has innumerable challenges. The new Congress, mostly composed of representatives from leftist parties, is expected to support the peace process that has been the subject of debate and reforms since the peace agreements were signed in 2016. The president also called again for free elections in Venezuela. The Moroccan Association for Human Rights released a report on Wednesday higher than the official government tally. The report entails the death toll from the last month's attempt by hundreds of migrants to storm the border between the North African Kingdom and the Spanish enclave of Melilla. The human rights watchdog known as AMDH said at least 27 people, mostly from Sudan, South Sudan and Chad, died in the attempt, with that number likely to rise as many more suffered severe injuries and 64 people remained missing. The Moroccan government has previously reported 23 deaths in the June 24 border storming. The report said around 1,500 migrants and asylum seekers departed that day from nearby forests and arrived at the Barrio Chino crossing area at around 9 a.m. UN High Commissioner for Human Rights Michelle Bachelet called on the Peru's Congress on Wednesday to ratify a regional environmental treaty shelved for the second time last week. The country's Congressional Foreign Affairs Committee shelved the ratification of the Escazú Agreement on 11 July. That treaty, also known as the Regional Agreement on Access to Information, Public Participation and Access to Justice in Environmental Matters in Latin America and the Caribbean, details the rights of activists in these regions. The agreement was first adopted in the Costa Rican city of Escazú in 2021. More updates lined up at the other side, but before that, let's take a look at what we have coming up next. For the first time in Latin America, French artist Sepe has continued his global project Beyond Walls by painting the sands of Copacabana Beach in Rio de Janeiro. Guillermo Legros, known as Sepe, a contraction of Say Peace, painted a 1,500-meter square artwork in Copacabana, followed by another artwork on a football field in the Estacio Favela, using natural pigments made out of charcoal and chalk. Sepe said, for him, this is a beautiful symbol of togetherness and, again, always important to find global solutions for different issues that we have. He added, because we are all linked, all the planet is linked, so the only solution that we have is to work together. This global project aims to link more than 30 cities over the world to promote a message of togetherness. And lastly, the sports update. Arguably the most successful coach in Nepali cricket history, Pubudu Dasanaike, has resigned from his post. In a hastily organized press meet on Wednesday, Dasanaike said he decided to quit due to personal reasons. Within minutes of his resignation, Cricket Canada announced that Dasanaike has been appointed as their head coach. The former Sri Lanka international had signed a 2-year contract with Cricket Association of Nepal, CAN, last December. Following a string of poor performances of the senior men's team, pressure was mounting on the Canadian national, while the dispute within the team seems to have helped him take the Canada job. Dasanaike, under whom Nepal played its first and only ICC T20 World Cup in 2014, is credited for architecting Nepal's ODI status. Dasanaike had already sent an email to CAN after the Scotland series about his intention to quit. England has entered the semi-finals of the Women's Euro Cup 2022. England, which is considered to be the main contender, confirmed its place in the semi-finals by defeating Spain with a margin of 2-1 in the match this morning. Spain took the early lead in the match at the American Express Community Stadium. Spain, who played the first half without a goal, took the lead in the 54th minute of the second half with a goal scored by centre forward Esther Gonzalez. Towards the end of the game, England's midfielder Ella Toney equalized the game by returning the goal in the 84th minute. The game went to extra time after Spain could not save their lead in the last 6 minutes. In the 96th minute of extra time, England's midfielder Georgia Stanway converted a pass from Kira Walls into a goal and gave England a comeback victory. Although Spain's grip on the ball looks good, Spain has been eliminated from the Euro Cup as no other goals were scored. The second quarter-final of the Euro Cup will be played between 8-time title winner Germany and Austria at 12:45 this afternoon. And before we say goodbye, the headlines one more time. Labour Minister Kuwa directs concerned bodies to make foreign employment more effective, instructs to make foreign employment online service trouble-free. 3 more people contract cholera in the valley. Total number of confirmed cases reached 34. US to send military aid to Ukraine. More detailed announcement expected later this week. And cricket head coach Dasanaike quits Nepal in the middle of his contract. Cricket Canada announces his appointment within hours. This brings us to the end of our bulletin. We shall see you back with the next one at 6 this evening. Till then, goodbye. Namaste.